Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be my... I have got to start figuring this out before I hit record. Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be my 5-month update for Pan That Palette. Where did May go? I would like an answer immediately. I don't know where it went. I lost it. I haven't been able to find it. It is gone. I think it's gone for good. May flew by so fast, I blinked and it was over. And I feel like when I think back to the makeup looks I did throughout the month, it's just a blur. I don't know what makeup I wore. I don't know where May went, but hopefully I have something to show you today in today's update. I never know until I'm editing and comparing the photos, so. I wore makeup every day except for one day, so I was wearing makeup, okay? For Pan That Palette, I cover 2 items each month. First is my little baby Pan That Palette. That is my Smashbox Full Exposure Duo. And second is my Viseart Petite Pro 2 palette. This is for the Tiny Pans project theme. That is a Pantastic Ladies collaboration. Let's start with this guy right here. Last month, I committed myself to focusing on this palette the most out of all of my eyeshadows that I'm currently working on. I wanted to give priority to this one because I feel like every update so far this year looks a lot like the previous month's update. I feel like there's been literally no progress, and I do reach for this duo a couple of times every month, but nothing enough to show anything really obvious from a comparison to the picture from the previous month. So I said, I want this palette duo to look different this month than it did last month. So let me show you a picture of what it looked like last month. And this is what it looks like today. I seriously hope that I have expanded pan on this bottom shade. I'm gonna be so frustrated if it looks exactly the same as last month's update, because I feel like I reached for this shade as my transition shade over every other eyeshadow that I'm currently working on. I did also use a shimmer quite a bit, but without there being pan to show, it's hard to see progress on this, but I have used it. It is panning kind of in a lumpy way. I don't want to call it hard pan, but I do have that every so often with eyeshadows where it doesn't really wear down evenly, and I don't know why, but whatever. I'm assuming it has to do with moisture and the oils on my skin or stuff like that. But I have grown quite fond of this shimmery shade, and I feel like it is very beautiful. It's subtle but beautiful. I'm not crazy about this transition shade. It just doesn't do much. I'd rather have a peachier transition shade or a pinkier transition shade or a much warmer brown. Anything besides a neutral brown is my preference, to be honest. But that being said, these two do work very well together, and they work quite well with the brown in my Viseart Pro palette, as well as some browns that I'm working on in my Jaclyn Hill and Morphe collab palette. So I'm always happy when I do a neutral look. Although this past month, I really tried to focus in on this duo more than other shadows. What I typically find myself doing is I do a couple days with colorful looks, and then I don't want color. I just want the most neutral, subtle, unnoticeable look, and then this is my go-to. And then after a day or two of this, I want color, and I go for bright colors, and then after a couple days of that, I want to go back to this. So I keep coming back to this no matter what, because I don't like to do color every single day. And sooner or later, all I want is a neutral look, and this is perfect for that. So hopefully the pan has expanded. I'm sure I was imagining much more than this at last month's update. I do think you can see my hard work a little bit. Okay, next, let's talk about my Viseart Petite Pro 2. Like I said, this was chosen for the theme Tiny Pans, which is the Pantastic Ladies Pan That Palette collaboration theme for 2021. I still think that was the cutest idea. I cannot wait to see what we do for next year and if I decide to go along with it or if I don't. You never know. I've done their theme every year for like the last 5 years, but you know, it might not work for me next year. We'll see. But this is a tiny, tiny palette with not so tiny pans. I am learning. It has not been as easy to hit pan on these eyeshadows as I was imagining, but I am using them very consistently. So let me show you a picture of what this looked like last month. And this is what it looks like this month. So, no new pans. I think I may have expanded the pan on this peachy shade a little bit. I did use it a few times, but like I said, I was reaching for the matte shade in this duo over this one every time. So I only got a chance to use this a couple of times. The dips and the mattes seem to have expanded a bit, and I think I will have pan on this dark brown by next month if I just do the bare minimum. I feel like I'm really close to hitting pan on that. I will be so happy to have a second pan in this palette. If that can happen by next month, that would be great. The goal that I had set for myself this past month was to keep working on the matte brown and to give these two a little additional focus. Like a lot of project panners, I have a tendency to set goals for myself and then do the exact opposite, and that's exactly what I did. I've been going for this coral and this shimmery shade a ton, especially this past week. I'm wearing it today along with some deeper shades from my Jaclyn Hill palette. But yeah, I feel like maybe I used the two purples once in the past month, and that's about it. Instead, I've been going for the coral and this kind of shimmery pink shade. I meant to try this as a blush today and I completely forgot. But I do want to try this out as a blush. I do not really like it as an eyeshadow. I ended up putting something else on top of it today, but that's what I tend to do with this shade. I put it on my eye and then I put something else on top of it that's shimmery. This is very pigmented. It has nice pigment. It's very pretty, but there's nothing that pops once it goes on my eye. It basically looks like a satin, almost a matte eyeshadow when I put it on my eye. And I like to have something very shimmery on my eyelid, especially on the inner half of my eyelid. So I find myself reaching for other things to put on top of it, which seems crazy because this is Viseart. It feels like it should stand alone, but it doesn't. So I'm going to try this as a blush. I meant to do that. Do I have any room for more blush? No, I really don't. I don't want to add any more blush to this look. I feel like that would be too much, but I do promise that before next month's update, I will try this shade as a blush and tell you what I think. It's not going to be easy to get a blush brush inside this little pan, but I will try that and see. I don't think I used these two shades at all, even once in the past month, not that I can recall. This is a lot like Max Cranberry, and Max Cranberry is in my Do Japan My Battleship project. So I've been reaching for that one instead of this one, because for that one all I have to do is hit pan and then I could roll it out, and this one I need to finish completely, obviously. So I've been reaching for Max Cranberry over this one. They're basically dupes for each other. For the next week or so, I think I will be working on the two purples because I'm really trying to hit pan on the hot pink in my Do Japan My Battleship project, and I think it will go well with these two. So that's basically going to be the look I wear for the next week or so, or until I hit pan. And then after that, I don't know if I'm going to go back to this coral look. I've just been loving this so very much. Or if I will go back to my duo and the brown, but I will continue to work on all of these shades as much as I can for the next month. It's freaking me out a little bit that we're getting to the halfway point in the year and this is all I have to show for it. I'm a little freaked out, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of optimistic that maybe I could finish this palette by the end of the year, since the pans and this palette in general seem to be so tiny, but I'm losing faith that I can make it happen. I've never panned an entire palette in a year, by the way. That's never happened. So this would have been a rare year for me, but it seemed like if any time was possible for this to happen, this would have been the year. And I only have one pan and we're 5 months in. So yikes. I am going to keep working on this guy and do what I can. Hopefully I will have a new pan to show you guys for next month. I am going to try to hit pan on this. I'm gonna try. All right, guys, I think that's all I have to say for this update. If you find out where May went, let me know. I would love to have a talk with that month and tell them to come back because I didn't get a May. I feel like I was robbed and I want May back. But that is it for this update. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.